One of the challenges for network marketers is that once they've started the conversation with a prospect, whether offline or on social media, is that oftentimes it can be difficult to work out how to transition the conversation to business with the prospect. So if you're finding yourself in the same situation, then hang in there, because in this video, you're going to learn 3 strategies which I have personally used and found them to be very effective, and they will also help you so that you can move the conversation so that you can talk about business with your prospect and do so naturally without feeling salesy or feeling awkward. Coming right up. Hi, I'm Sanat Rathi. On this channel, you will get tips and trainings to help you build, duplicate, and scale your network marketing or affiliate marketing business online so that you can create a lifestyle of time and freedom. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so that you never miss out on any of the trainings. Now, before you bring up business with your prospects, you want to be in a position where you have built up some rapport and a bit of relationship with them. Without that, going straight into business is probably going to come across as a bit salesy and pushy and repel your prospects away. Now, building rapport with your prospects is not difficult. It's part of your initial prospecting process, and if you want to learn how to do that, then watch the training on social media prospecting, for which I'll leave the video link above or in the description below. But for now, in this video, we're going to assume that you do have some rapport with your prospects, and now you're at a point where you want to know how you can move the conversation so that you can talk about business with your prospects. When and what strategy you choose to bring up your business depends on where you're at in your conversation with your prospects. Now, of course, your conversation can go in a whole range of directions, but based on what I've found, and after speaking with several people in the industry, there are 3 commonly occurring scenarios which can happen as your conversation unfolds with your prospects. So let's now talk about what each of those scenarios are and the most effective strategy that you can apply in each of those scenarios so that you can introduce your business to your prospects. Let's dive in. Strategy number 1. In this scenario, you don't actually bring up your business directly yourself, and instead, you just answer your prospect's question, what do you do, when it comes up in the conversation. So what I found is that when I meet with a prospect, whether it's in person or on social media, is just how the conversation naturally seems to flow as we're trying to get to know each other a little bit, is that we often ask each other the question, well, what do you do, or what do you do for a living, or something on those lines. So when you're interacting with your prospects and they ask you the question, well, what do you do, then that's your perfect opportunity to transition the conversation to business, but do so in a subtle and indirect way. My favorite answer to the question, what do you do, and you can also use this in your conversations with your prospects, I've personally tried this many times, it has worked, is that you can respond by saying, I help people make some additional money online working part-time hours without changing anything that they're currently doing. As you would have noticed, in answering the question this way, you haven't really given away the name of your business or your website or the name of your products. And you're doing that deliberately because your purpose is just to create a little bit of curiosity in your prospect's mind instead of directly pitching your business. Now, at this point, if your prospect starts to ask you more questions about your business, then you want to resist the temptation and not do what most network marketers tend to do, which is to give your prospect a verbal download of your business presentation right there and then. Doing that doesn't work, and in fact, it drives your prospects insane. The other problem with answering some of your prospects' questions on the spot is that they won't get all the information that they need to make an informed decision, which they will get by watching your business video presentation. And if they happen to ask you the name of your company or your website or your business name, then you don't want to make the mistake of giving that away, because what will most probably happen is that they will go away and do some Google searches and probably come across something negative. Maybe it's one of those things, and that'll be the end of it. You will probably never hear from them again. So instead of answering any of the questions right there and then, what you want to do is create a sense of urgency by just saying to them, hey so and so, thanks for asking. These are all great questions. Listen, right now I gotta run. If I send you a video which explains how everything works, would you take a look? If they say yes, then send them your video link, but before sending it, remember to ask them what time they'll be watching the video. And if they don't mind, if you call them back once they watched it, so you can ask them how they liked it. And you want to do that deliberately so you can follow up with them. And when you do call them back to follow up, your goal is to ask them what they like best and answer any questions they might have, and also overcome any objections they might have. And if all goes well, sign them up. Now, of course, not every prospect is going to sign up just so easily. That's why your goal is to talk to new prospects on a daily basis, get your business presentation in front of them, and follow up with them, because fortune is in the follow-up. So that's strategy number one. Let's now talk about a second scenario in which your conversation can unfold, and the strategy that you can apply in that scenario to move the conversation to your business. Introduce your business when you hear your prospects complain. Another direction that your conversation can easily take with your prospects is that after a bit of chit chat, oftentimes you'll find that sooner or later they'll complain about something. And oftentimes that complaint is about their job, the work stress, office politics, maybe they don't have a good boss, and things of that nature. So when you find your prospects complain any of that sort of stuff, then what you have right there is a qualified prospect. And introducing your business is the perfect logical solution to help them solve their problems. And you want to make sure that you position your business that way, but again, in an indirect and non-salesy way. So when you hear them complain, a strategy which you can use, and I found it to work exceptionally well, is that you can respond by saying, I think I might be able to help. If I can show you a way of getting rid of your job or sacking your boss, do you keep your financial options open? If they respond back by saying something like, well, depends on what the options are, then you can respond back by saying, sure, totally appreciate that. If I send you a video which explains everything, would you check it out? And if at this point they decide to ask you more questions about what it is or how it works, then just as we talked about earlier, you want to resist the temptation to answer any of the questions. Instead, just say to them, these are all great questions. I'm sure once you watch the video, all your questions will be answered for you. So as you can see, your goal is to pique their curiosity by offering them a solution without actually giving away any details about your business. If they say yes, then send them the video link and book the follow-up call. And when you call them back, your goal again is to ask them what they like best, answer any questions they might have, overcome any objections, and sign them up. All right, so that's strategy number two. Let's now talk about a third scenario in which your conversation can go with your prospects, and the strategy that you can apply in that scenario so that you can move the conversation to business. Let's dive in. Ask your prospects for their help to evaluate your business versus pitching your business. So in my conversations with my prospects, what I've often also found is that the first two scenarios that we have just talked about didn't actually happen. So my prospects never asked me the question, what do I do for a living? And they also didn't complain about their job or their work stress or any of that sort of stuff. So I didn't quite have the opportunity to transition the conversation to business by using any of those two scenarios. So when you find yourself in that situation, then obviously you don't want to keep on waiting forever to be able to talk about your business. And so in that scenario, the strategy that I found that works the best is to use a little direct approach this time and pop the question about your business, but do that by asking your prospects to evaluate your business instead of directly pitching it. And a really effective way of doing that is by asking your prospect the question, hey so-and-so, if I asked you for a favor, would you mind helping me out? They might respond by saying, well, depends on what it is or something on those lines. Then you can say, sure, I recently started a business with some friends. We are really excited about its potential and how it's going. We are looking to expand our business in your area. We are helping people make some additional income online, working part-time hours, without changing anything that they're currently doing. So if I send you a video which explains how the business works, would you mind taking a look at it? You may or may not be interested in the business, which is totally okay, but you might know of some people who might be interested. So if you could take a look at it and let me know what you think, I would really appreciate that. So that's what you would say to your prospects. And as you would have noticed, that we said to the prospect, you may or may not be interested, and that's totally okay. And the reason why you want to do that is that you want to give your prospect a way out, so that just in case if the prospect wasn't interested in your business, they don't feel the pressure of saying yes to you. So as you can see with this approach, all you're doing is asking your prospect for the help to evaluate your business instead of directly pitching it. And if they say yes, then send them the video link and also book the follow-up call. And when you do call them back, again, your goal is to ask them what they like the best, answer any questions they might have, overcome any objections they have, and if all goes well, then sign them up. When using this evaluation approach, what I've found is that when I've made that call to the prospects and asked them what they like the best, is oftentimes they've actually become interested in the business themselves. Sometimes it was the products that they liked, other times it was the compensation plan. Or sometimes if they were not interested in the business themselves, they're still quite happy to refer you to some of their contacts, which is still a great outcome because it gives you more prospects to talk to. And the worst thing that can probably happen is that the business is not their cup of tea, and maybe they're also not interested in referring you to their contacts. But even in that case, because you gave them a way out by saying to them that you may or may not be interested in the business, which is totally okay, you should still be able to continue to be friends with them. And so therefore, it's not the end of the world. All right, so there are the 3 scenarios and the 3 effective strategies that go with them to help you work out how to transition the conversation to business with your prospects. I would love to hear about your experience. So comment below what strategies are you using and what has or has not worked for you in your business. If you got some good value from this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more such videos. And if you feel anyone else in your team would also benefit from this video, then feel free to share with them. Thanks very much for watching. I appreciate your time and see you in the next video.